right, Ben and Bones. I guess the official return had a little dry run last week that got lost in the archives. Feels good to be back. How you doing, Jack?
Good. I think Lost in the Archives is probably the best name for our show that we've come up with besides Ben and Bones. I think it should be Ben and Bones colon Lost in the Archives
We'll
because
workshop it.
that's
I
our
like
kind of
that.
our,
Yeah.
our destiny. You so we did not do an agenda today. I did not do an agenda today. I fell down on the job, which is fine. We're going to recover from it, and we'll have an agenda for next week, which will be better. But today we're going to talk through some overall big picture things that we just literally discussed 10 seconds ago. And the first of which is going to be why Americans should be more into English soccer. So let's think about the biggest complaints off the top of your head. What are the Americans' complaints to soccer?
I was gonna go even more big picture to start and just say, I think the way you got to do it is, you got me into Liverpool basically, and now I'm all in. But the way you have to do it is you like have to pick a team. Like I'm still not
Mm,
even at the point where like if like Chelsea and like Burnley are playing and Liverpool's not, like I'm not gonna watch that game even if nothing else is on. And like you just have there's guides out there. Simmons wrote one, Barstool wrote one. Like here's what team to pick. If your personality, if you like the Red Sox, whatever. I think you just gotta like look at the uniform, you watch your game, you check out the roster, you're like, oh, this guy looks like the man, and you just gotta like say I'm a Spurs fan or say I'm a Chelsea fan, whatever's gonna get you into it. You just gotta pick one.
and then just follow them completely from there. But you
Just
can't do Real. That's so whack.
can't do
Plus they like that
can't do
fun to
what?
watch. Barcelona and Real.
Oh, right. That's. I'll get to that point when we get to the nitty gritty. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
need a salary cap.
It's funny that you said watch them on TV and see what jerseys you like, because I remember in that Bill Simmons column they had that Dr. Dre was a Liverpool fan, and immediately that was like, all right, sick. I was like looking it up and like, why is Dr. Dre a Liverpool fan? And it said he was at a tour in England sometime, and he turned on the TV and he said, and I saw these cool cats in red just running across the field, and I was like, he literally picked him because he's like a blood. That's the main reason, which we'll take. I'm on board.
Yeah,
It's all good.
15 years
But
later, 12 years later.
there's definitely some sort of thing you get just by watching them and whose style of play.
Oh, I mean,
Um,
before I talked to you about Liverpool at all, I was a West Ham United guy just from Green Street Hooligans.
right. And that can happen. I don't know. I think it's like maybe you take a season to watch, and you don't have to watch the crazy games like you mentioned, Chelsea, Burnley. No one's ever going to pick Burnley. Um, but I think you go into it and you watch the bigger games and you watch maybe the top 8 to 10 teams, see who they play and see who you identify with. Because after a while, at the beginning, it's all going to looks like this to me, like it just mishmash. I don't know what these guys are doing, whatever. But then you hear people talk about it. You hear the commentators, and they say, "Oh, they have this style of play. They're very defensive and they're very reactive, like a Manchester United. Whereas their history is they're all swashbuckling, going forward, floodmen guys forward, all that kind of stuff." So you got to know what you like. It's like, do you like the greatest show on turf with the Rams? And you can kind of pick and choose that way.
Yeah,
I think there does need to be an updated version of that Bill Simmons article, because there is so many good options to choose from,
yeah,
and especially with all the good managers that they have now, that's probably your best bet, because the players are going to change year over year, but the managers, at least the top ones, hopefully will be there for 3, 4, 5, maybe even 6 years. So if you can find somebody who you agree with, and whose play style matches what you're looking for, that's a big benefit.
yeah, yeah. Hopefully, Liverpool can
Um,
just keep Klopp forever.
Yeah, I know he's the best. So tell me what else more like a microcosm, more detail oriented. What do you think are the things that Americans don't like about soccer when they just think about it off the top of their head?
It's low scoring for sure. I've just started to get into a
Mhm.
point where I can like enjoy a 0-0 game. I'm like, wow, that was good. And someone had a good
Mhm.
point one time. They're like, if you watch a football game and it's like 21-7 or 21-14, that's basically like 3-2 in soccer.
Mhm.
Although that's a really high scoring game. Um,
Mhm.
I think just for myself, not going to speak for everyone. It's offsides is the worst rule in sports. I have no problem saying that. I hate the flopping. I wish they would just get executed on the field instead. It's like brutal, embarrassing, and then just like throw a couple timeouts in there because I don't need these guys flopping. I don't need the injuries. Just like quick timeout, catch your breath, get a bottle of water, and that's it.
Mhm. Okay. I think those are fairly representative of what most people say. Um, and at certain points in my life, I agreed with all of them. The first one, I think the easiest one to the other side of is the low scoring. It's funny if like I listen to these English podcasts and every once in a while they'll bring up American sports and they'll bring up basketball and I'll be like, what's the fucking point, mate? Just down and back. All they do is fucking score, you know? It's like, all right, yeah, I get it. Like that's kind of crazy. The difference is I plan my week around my personal reaction to a Liverpool goal. There is no greater release in the world. It's just take your shirt off, whoop around your head like a helicopter, you know, and just go nuts because it is the greatest feeling in the world. It's like that goes into it. You like hockey, it's a similar type of thing where there's so much back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And when it finally comes off, it's incredible. It's the most incredible feeling there is in sports. It's you go nuts. So I think once you get into it, once you have a team that you're invested in and you get that first feeling of what it feels like when they score a goal, never mind when they score an important goal, you'll understand that exhilaration that you get and how awesome that is. And it makes up for, the 25 goals that they didn't score because it would have been more exciting if it was fast scoring. Offside, I know what you're saying. But I think that just keeps the action more consistent. If there was a guy back there cherry picking, then it would just be a totally different game. Obviously,
Can
the
you
thing
can
that
you tweak the rules for me and have like no offsides when the passer and the passee are both in the box? Like we're talking about a very small distance. Like if you're letting someone get offsides, then that's just bad defense.
yeah, I agree. I just don't think that's something that's ever going to change.
Oh, I
Because
know. It's the most popular
yeah,
game in the world. They don't have to change anything. It just pisses me off to
no,
watch.
they do. I totally understand that point, and it's interesting because I think it's crazy that that's a defensive strategy. Like in what sport do we watch? I'm sure somebody can come up with a good example, but I can't off the top of my
No,
head.
it would be like cherry picking in basketball, and you just let the guy run down court, and he gets it for an easy layup, and the ref's like, "Nope, can't do that."
Your ball. Yeah, it
Yeah.
doesn't happen. Um, so I think that's one of the parts of it. One thing I do wish that they did was come up with kind of like a gray area for it, because or really define it, because I think there's somewhere like the guy's fingertip is off and it's offsides, and there's other where it's like happens in an instant and he's not really offsides.
Well,
They should have technology or something.
I'll tweak it to at least to the hockey rule because in offsides, I think it's more to what you first said, where if your fingertip is past the guy, you're offsides. But in hockey, like if you're crossing the blue line and you toe drag and you like leave that leg on the blue line for as long as you can, you're onside.
Mm,
So like if there's like a little overlap,
that's a good one.
let the guy. I mean, let's ease into this a little bit.
He's out of it. What was the rule that they came up with hockey with the two-line passing that helped scoring?
I think
Wasn't that
they're used to
you used to not be able to do that, right?
right, and now you can. I mean, they like decreased the goalie's pad size. I think they might have increased the net by a little, maybe. And they did the two-line pass, and they have like a couple other icing rules and stuff because that was like during that first lockout, and wasn't as popular. Not that soccer has that problem with popularity, but
I wonder if they could do something similar like that to help with that. I don't know what the solution is, but that's just kind of the something that's set in stone. But I wish they would clarify it a little bit better.
also the last probably great point for Americans not being into soccer is that our country's team isn't good at soccer. And like the All-Star game for the MLS is the MLS All-Stars against like a top 5 Premier League team.
It's true, but I think it's changing, and people have been saying that for forever, right?
Yeah.
But and I don't know how good Landon Donovan was back in his pomp. I don't know how good Clint Dempsey was back in his day either. Because I wasn't really following soccer that much then. What I do know is you have guys like Christian Pulisic on Dortmund. You have guys like Julian Green on Bayern Munich. You have Gideon Zalem, who's on Arsenal's youth team or whatever, something like that. Just like big name clubs. And these are 16, 17-year-old kids,
Yeah.
And that combined with all the shit that we hear about football on a daily basis and concussions and people not wanting them to be involved in that, we've all made the acknowledgement that if our best athletes focused on soccer, we dominate. We would absolutely dominate. LeBron James is a goalie. Are you freaking
I'll
kidding
have
me?
that argument with any diehard Euro anytime, anywhere. Like, I've made this point before. It might not even be like Dwayne Wade. Like, I'm not saying Dwayne Wade to be the best midfielder, but we probably have some freak athletes that are now like accountants because they were just like these 6'2" white dudes who wanted to play basketball the whole time, and they like made it. They got a scholarship to like Duke, and they were like point guard for a couple of years, couldn't go pro. But if that dude was playing midfield the whole time, like his skills might translate to soccer. But then I'm not saying like Dwight Howard would be a good defender or like, it doesn't translate one to one.
You're saying Greg Paulus would be a great midfielder.
That's who I was thinking of, actually. But
because we know he's a quarterback for Syracuse and a point guard.
Yeah.
Why not throw him in midfield for USA?
Yeah, I'd throw like Tristan Thompson in goal, and like you put Rondo on the attack. You're gonna have some good players, but I'm not saying they would all be famous athletes right now from the pool right now.
I just think it's interesting because Paul Pogba just united this transfer window for $96 million, 96 million euros, $126 million, something like that, right? And he's known as the best athlete, freak athlete in the game. I think he's 6'2", maybe 200 pounds, fast, strong, got all the moves, right? Like Adrian Peterson would physically dominate that fool. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's definitely stronger, and it's like, what would happen if we did that? But I do think that you're going to start seeing us get better and better and better, and it's not going to be overnight. But this kid Pulisic is legit. He's playing in the Champions League at 17. Julian Green just scored a goal for Bayern Munich at 17. Gideon Zalem is supposed to be really, really good too. They're going to get more and more of that. I think those three guys, I'm leaving myself an out here because it's so far in the distance, but I think those three guys, when they're the Donovan and the Dempsey ages, when they're 27 to 30, other guys coming underneath. So what's that, the next 10, 12 years, right? That's when you're really going to see the talent. So that's my only hope for that. And then I think your last one was the timeouts. I actually really like that there's no timeouts. Because
I do too for the continuity of the game. It goes by fast. I think that's what a lot of Euros don't like about our sports. But I was more saying the timeouts because of the flopping and because of people getting tired, and you only get 2 substitutions. Like if people are going to flop, which because of they're tired, they need a break, just like throw a timeout in there.
Mm-hmm. I think and this is going to be an unpopular opinion, but I do think that thought that there's that much flopping is a bit overrated. Because I remember like 4 years ago, I went to my buddy's place and we watched the Giants play the Cowboys on Sunday Night Football. And he was making the case to me that soccer was such a better sport. And I was ripping this fool. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? There's no way soccer's better. That flopping is terrible, blah, blah, blah. He's like, watch this game, right? And it's not as obvious. It's not as like ballerina-esque, you know? But there is like, oh, he pushed off on me. He held me. He was doing this, you know? It happens all the time. I think that we always see the really bad ones where the guys act like a total doofus. And I get that. That's like the worst, right? That's the absolute worst. And they actually do a really good job of calling simulation like they do in hockey. You know, if somebody puts his leg out, doesn't make contact, but he still falls all over, he'll get booked and get a card. So I do think it's definitely something that's bad, but I don't think it's as bad as most people. You've watched Liverpool games this year, right? Yeah. How many times, let's just say Liverpool only, them quote unquote, really dive?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to cut you off, though, because I don't know how many people are going to want to listen to 10 minutes of talking soccer. Yeah. I had a point about the salary cap. I think they just need to put a little something in place just so it doesn't get out of hand like Barcelona and Madrid. But maybe we can say that for another time, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Sure. Sounds good. What do we want to talk about next? The worst sports defeats?
I was thinking all day kind of about my top 5 worst sports defeats of all time. Okay. And I'm prepared to go if you would let me.
Yeah, go for it.
So I have 6, but I'm gonna cut it to 5, and I don't even know the whole order.
Okay.
So I'm gonna start number 5, 2013 Stanley Cup. Bruins lost. I was really into the Bruins, especially after they had just won in 2011. That was brutal. I was at a bar for that. So they were up with like a minute left, and then the Blackhawks scored 2 goals to tie it and then win it in regulation. So that was
right?
What? What's up?
Was that game 6?
Yeah.
Was that game 6?
Yeah, so that would have been the force of game 7. So that was brutal. Number 4 is the 2003 ALCS. That was at the height of my Red Sox fandom. That was in 8th grade. I think I almost cried. I might have cried when Aaron Boone hit that home run.
Mm-hmm.
That was brutal. But we get some redemption, so it doesn't hurt as much, obviously. Number 3, Tiger Woods losing the 2009 PGA Championship to Y Yang. I was actually with you watching that. That was awful. He should have 15, he should have 15 majors. That's a fact. Everyone knows it. Number 2 would be the Super Bowl to go for 19-0. The first Giants Super Bowl loss. That was terrible. And then number 1 would be the 2016 King Cup. It's the only time. I think that's the only time I can remember. Only time I can remember.
That was like.
Yeah, only time I can remember crying about a sporting event in a long time. Yeah, that was really bad. Yeah, put a Jordan cry face on me and you.
On my putter for sure. That's really hilarious. That was like a really well played out joke. That like. The punchline got me good.
I thought about that one all day.
So I'm going to say that number 1, absolutely for me, is the Patriots 19-0. Because that was immortality, and that was after Spygate, and that was the height of us against the world, whatever. I went for after having drank 9 beers and 26 games, junior year of college or sophomore year of college when that happened. It was just the worst ever. I cried. My Brady jersey. And plus, I'm in Boston, and everybody that I go to school with is from New York and New Jersey. So they're all Giants fans, and they just can't believe it. They're just like, Eli Manning? I'm like, I know. He fucking sucks. I can't believe he did this. Number 2 is Patriots losing again to the Giants, because that was
I left that one out because I needed to make room for the King Cup.
Yeah, I was just like, how does this happen again? With that being said, Malcolm Butler's interception made up for both of those times 10.
Oh, the emotion there. Oh my God. Talk about the Liverpool well, it's times infinity.
That was just a release. I think one of the happiest moments I've ever been was when I, like a couple days later, and I was walking to Target and I said, I'm going to go buy a king size box of Lucky Charms and I'm going to watch the parade from start to finish. And it was the greatest experience. And like Julian Edelman's all wasted and he's got the pictures of Richard Sherman doing the 2-4 and all that kind of stuff.
Are you going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Or are you just skipping around?
Those two, I think, are definitely up there. I mean, Tiger's next, right? That was terrible. Trying to think. What was the other one that you said? Well, Red Sox. Yeah, I cried for that one. That one, I was just like, why do I bother? Why do I bother being a Red Sox fan? This is the worst shit ever.
Yeah.
You know?
No,
but then
I'll let you say your last one.
All those championships after that obviously made up for that. And then I'm trying to think of the last one. Was King Cup, I'm not even mad about. Obviously, it was very frustrating. But the fact that we played this dude who's just en fuego and ended up making us some money anyway is all good. Shit, what was my last one?
I think you're missing an obvious one for you.
Oh, I got one. I think you're missing an obvious one. Celtics Lakers.
I don't care about the Celtics really as much, so
that was horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's the game. If Perkins doesn't tear his ACL, they win 2 titles.
Yep. They gave up like 25 offensive rebounds.
Oh yeah,
it's terrible.
They were up like 20, and they gave up 17 to 20 offensive rebounds. It doesn't happen unless he tears his ACL.
So I want to delve more into this. What is that feeling when your favorite team, who you care about more than anything, you way too much time, way too much money?
Timeout. Chris Bryant just went Yabo first inning for the Cubs.
Yeah, Yabo.
My cousin, let's get it.
What is that feeling?
You know, it's so my brother Patrick, he doesn't like sports at all and like doesn't get the I try to talk to him sometimes, like the community, it really does bring people together. You look at like Ortiz after the marathon bombings and stuff. I think that's like the best example. Like you really like feel so interested and so involved in it. And then like if you follow sports like we do and you just get into it and just like the culmination of all that, it's almost like the next day you're like, okay, now what? Because you don't know what to do. But in that moment when it's happening or when they're down like a run or a score, with like little time left, just like, I don't know, it's got to be what doing like hard drugs is like. Just like fucking you feel like the adrenaline, but like it's like an combination of anxiety and adrenaline, like leading up to it, and then like you just explode when they win something.
Mm-hmm. And when it's bad, the explosion is an implosion.
Yeah, I remember when the Patriots lost the AFC Championship last year. Took like 3 beers, just put on a winter coat and a hat, and I just went for a walk outside for like an hour and a half. I was just like, like it's just that's when you tell yourself like it's just sports. The sun's gonna come up tomorrow. Nothing's gonna happen. Like, oh, I can't watch Sports Center for a couple days. Like, some people at work are gonna give me shit, and it's like, and then no one cares because they just remember whoever won. And it's like no one's gonna be like in 3 years, you guys fucked that up, for the most part.
I think it's also the daunting task of ever getting back to that again.
I think
like,
sorry,
God, so much went into getting to that point, and to lose it, it's just like, ugh, we got to go all the way back and do that again.
I think for that, with me, is like for basketball and football, if you have a good young core or you have the best couple players, you're always going to be in the mix. You're like, all right, well, next season we'll just be there. But for baseball and hockey, they're a little more random. Like, you can have the best team, and you can not make the playoffs. You can get bounced in the first round so quick. Hockey especially, a lucky goal, hit a post here and there. Baseball, it's all bounces and it's all just a little bit of luck. Like that's what I think about watching the Cubs. It's like they have this incredible core right now. No one's getting paid. They're managing it so well, and like they got swept in the NLCS last year. They in the World Series now. If they lose this year, it's like you might never get back there.
It's pretty scary. I think to your point about the bounces, I actually think the worst feeling I ever had in sports was not when Y.E. Yang made his final putt. It was not when Plexico Burress beat that gay, what's his name? The quarterback, or Ellis Hobbs.
How about David Tyree? It's probably worse.
David Tyree was bad, but I'm going to tell you the worst feeling I ever felt watching sports in my entire life. Curse caught the pass last year, or when the Patriots were in the Super Bowl against Buffalo. And it bounced.
Yeah,
and I just said, not again. I went full surrender Cobra.
Well,
and
I remember in the second loss to the Giants, I was the only one at the Super Bowl party I was at, and I was like, just let them score. Let them score. Give us some time. And then in that one, I'm like screaming at the TV. I'm like, Bill, like call a fucking time out. Then you watch the Patriots thing after, and he's just like, no. Like he knew that play was coming. I swear to God, he did.
Yeah, but that was that, and you saw it on Brady's face. You could look it on people's face across the globe to see that, and it was the worst. Oh my God. But the contrasting, the best is, and I got to start doing this, is what Barstool's doing with the Facebook Live stuff. But when people put GoPros on their TVs and like you watch the Seahawks fans' reactions to all the stuff that was happening, that was the funniest shit I have ever seen in my entire life. Beast mode, beast mode, beast mode. What?
Man.
It's terrible. So
terrible.
Yeah. But so let's think about this. What would happen? What would have to happen to have your next best sports moment?
My next best?
From now on, who would have to win a title or do something? What happened?
Oh shit, dude. Oh shit. I'll cut this. Dude, the Cubs had runners on second and third. Guy hit a fly out. The two guys miscommunicated, dropped it, and 2 runs scored.
So Cubbies up 3?
Yeah.
Very good.
Sorry. My next best sports moment would easily be Tiger Woods winning another major. Not even close. Even if I could take Patriots winning another Super Bowl, which is going to happen anyway, so I don't have to take it, or Tiger winning like the Masters. Oh my God, I would pay so much money for that to happen, just to shut people up forever.
I actually agree. I think that's very true.
No, that's my dog right behind me.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I think that would just be incredible because it would complete the comeback story. Obviously, Liverpool winning the league would be huge. But the Patriots really obviously any year is great for Super Bowl. But this year in particular, just to see Goodell hand over the trophy would be the best.
You know what? You know what actually pisses me off thinking about it though, is that I've imagined this scenario in my head. I want Tom to walk up on the stage, take the MVP trophy, and just like hawk a loogie in Goodell's eye, and like just like backhand him across the face. And the crowd goes wild. But he's gonna be like, "Thank you, Roger. It's a real honor." It's like, no, dude, come on. Everyone wants to see this.
Him acting like that though is even more of like he's just too cool for that. He's too above that.
Well, what about like a
a
subtle handshake, like a head nod, just like "fuck you, Raj," right into the microphone, and then just takes it. That's probably better.
I think he I think you should go in for the handshake and go choose.
Old school.
All right, I'm going to give you some options, okay? I'm going to give you Patriots, Super Bowl this year, Goodell Trophy to Brady and Bob Kraft, and Brady gets the MVP and they win in amazing fashion. Or Tiger wins a PGA.
Let me effort real quick. I gotta see where the PGA is this year.
Whistling Straits.
No, it isn't. It was there last year.
Oh, my bad. I feel like it's always there. No, it was in Minnesota last year.
No, that's the Ryder Cup. Apparently, I have not done a good enough job getting you back into golf.
Apparently not.
Oh, Quail Hollow. That's a
Tiger at Quail Hollow
no.
with all the LGBT protests.
They go there every year for something. No, I'll take the Patriots.
Okay, that's fair.
I need a legit track.
Yeah. All right. Well, any other venue / any other major, you take Tiger. I agree with that.
By far, any other major. It doesn't matter the track, but not the PGA.
All right. And then what would be your next worst thing that could happen? Don't say any injuries or anything like that. We don't want
So next worst would either be Brady putting up a stinker in the Super Bowl. Like, maybe Peyton is better. Brady got there, blah, blah, blah. Or it would be Tiger with like a 2-shot lead and shooting like 75 on Sunday. And that's, all he needed was a 70. All he needed was even par, and he shoots like 3 over. And everyone's like, yep, the nerves. He's not back. He doesn't intimidate people anymore. Be one of those two.
First, obviously, the Brady thing, right? But then I just played those two scenarios out in my mind. And I said, I would be able to sleep the night before the Super Bowl. If Tiger was up 2 in a major, minus Quail Hollow, I would not be able to sleep. I would fly to wherever you're at. We'd have a sleepover. We would not be able to sleep, and we'd be mapping out the course in our heads.
No, I would fly there, and I would be Happy Gilmore's old boss with a nail in my head, and I'd be out on the course the next day, like taking golf balls off the chest, like ricocheting them back into the crowd, like kneecapping Rory.
So tell everybody a little bit about the Rory interview that he had on No Laying Up. What was your 1 or 2 big takeaways from it?
So the Rory interview was really good. I have my own personal vendetta against him. It's another time and place. He was cool. He gets along well with Chris Solomon, the main guy from No Laying Up. They're just like shooting the shit, talking about the Ryder Cup. Rory's just saying how much he enjoyed it. Like, he didn't care people insulting him at all. Like, you suck McIlroy, you suck anybody else. He's just saying, like, keep the personal stuff down to a minimum. He's like, you can cheer when we hit bad shots. He's like, the Europeans do that too. People were making a big deal out of that. He's excited to try his new equipment changes. He was like a really, really cool dude for most of the interview. And then at the end, they were like, who's your favorite person to play with on tour? And he said, Ian Poulter, because him and his caddy are fun together. And I was like, what? Like, everyone hates that guy, right? Even the guy that is interviewing you thinks that guy sucks.
Right. And that's like kind of a layup, right? That's where you drop the obligatory Tiger Woods. He's the best to ever do it. He's my role model. He's this, that, the other thing. He's my favorite guy to play with.
Well, to be fair, I don't know if you ended up listening to it, but afterwards he's like, and I love playing with like JT and Spieth and like those younger guys because like we just have a blast together on the course. And he's like, actually, we might have too much fun.
Really?
Yeah. And he's like, they were all like, oh, Rory, when are you coming back to Jupiter? And he's like, dude, I'm not coming back till like February. I travel so much. He said last year he had 18 days off the whole year. No media obligation, no sponsor obligation, no golf.
That's not healthy.
No, and he's like working on reeling that in, and
Did he mention Tiger at all?
I don't think so. No.
Wow.
Yeah. I think
Interesting.
I think it. I think the guy doing the interview did a really good job, and I think it kind of sucks at this point that everyone asks every other pro golfer about Tiger. So I think maybe he was actually conscious about that.
Interesting. What did he say about his equipment change? So is I know he loved the M2. He was bombing it past those guys. He said
He
different
said
irons or what?
he said um, I'm sorry. He said he loves the M2 driver and 5 wood. He doesn't like the 3 wood. He feels like all the irons are basically the same, and he feels like the wedges are more or less the same. So he's gonna find a ball that he likes, even though he's got the Nike one for a couple of years. He's got, like had them make enough for a couple of years. I read that somewhere else. Um, so he's gonna find a ball, driver, 5 wood are good, and he's gonna find any old irons he likes and any, or then pick a different 3 wood.
Wow. That's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Hey, Nike, just make a couple of years worth, will you?
Dude, I actually read that, and he said somebody on Twitter, like a reliable source, said he made he got 3 years worth of the Nike ball he likes because he knows he can win with it, and so he was fine with that.
So if he has 18 days off a year, that means he's doing something 350.
Math,
days.
yeah.
How many golf balls do you think 3 years worth is? Because you got to practice with him.
Yeah, so that's what I didn't know. There's no way they make enough for him to like beat balls in the range that he's never going to use again.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Interesting. That's cool. So I think we should have a new segment. It's called "Do We Love Roy?" and scale of 1 to 10. Because I'm always going back and forth. I remember I sent the Nike commercial to, and you're like, "Yeah, but it's Rory." It's like, I know, but it's still cool. But I knew what you were talking about.
Which
So
one? Which one?
the one where he's like working out like crazy, making kale smoothies and just being a
Oh,
boss.
fuck that. The only cool one is the one with him like looking at Tiger in the TV and he's getting older and older. That one's sick.
Scale 1 to 10. Do you love Rory? What do you got?
2.5.
That is a bold vendetta. I'm a 7. I guess I'm easier. I'm more of a golf slut than you are. You're more difficult with your love.
Let me say, if after the day that me and all my friends met him and had a great time with him, if he just tweeted at me, I'd be full blown fanboy. But he ignored me, and he's a threat. I don't think he's a threat to 14 majors really. That could come back and bite me, but I just gotta. It's like how I used to hate Phil. Now he's not a threat. I have to hate Rory, just for a little bit, just for another couple of years, you know.
How much are you going to hate Rory when he wins a major this year and someone creates the meme and it's a picture of Tiger and a picture of him and it's you versus the guy she told you not to worry about?
As long as he doesn't win the Masters, I don't care.
Just keeps the 10th hole, I think we'll be good.
Oh. In that Rory interview, they asked him, and they go, they were talking about Augusta, and they were like, what's your favorite hole? What's your favorite shot? And they were like, what is your least favorite hole? What's a shot you could, you hate, you could have back, whatever. And he was just like, I hate the 4th and the 11th hole because I didn't play them well this year. I wanted him to be like, I would have been like maybe back on Rory if he was like, hey, if I could just go back and replay the 10th hole and whatever year that was where he had the 5-shot lead, I would have loved it if he was like, if I could go back and do that, I'd do it.
We really need a compilation of that. Our I don't know if our focus is going to be 100% on golf, 80% on golf, 50% on golf, whatever it's going to be, because I think that's obviously where we have the most more passion than other people, you in particular. But I think we really need to get our editing skills up and create a compilation of the best shots, meaning the worst Pro Tracer shots, as well as like the Rory because that was just priceless. Almost as priceless as I think Graham McDowell's.
That's my favorite Pro Tracer ever.
It's probably good.
I'll have to try and throw a link in this YouTube video somewhere. I'd say the other thing is with that Rory shot on 10, I'll throw a link into that too if I remember. Or
just maybe a picture that can pop up.
Yeah. So we were watching with a bunch of people, and my dad had been to the Masters years and years before. And somebody just happens to ask right before Rory tees off on that hole, and they're like, "Are there any houses?" It's one of my mom's friends. She's like, "Are there any houses on the course at all?" My dad's like, "No houses anywhere." Rory hits it so far left. There's like all these cabins that the Augusta owns, and they're like, "I thought you said there weren't any houses." And my dad's like, "There shouldn't be." But he hit it like 150 yards left.
Oh my God. It's amazing. So good. All right. Do we have anything else we want to talk about? Want to do a quick World Series update? As of right now, we got 3-0.
Wanted to do. I got a couple names to look out for this year in golf.
Ooh, okay. I love it. Let's hear it.
So the number one. This isn't going to be new to you. I know this was your guy a while ago, but I legitimately think he's going to win a tournament this year. Luke List, Sir Double L.
Okay.
He had a solid year last year. I heard he's finally toned down. He stopped partying. He's one of the longest hitters on tour. His name was up there in a couple of those stupid tournaments last year. He almost won last week or a couple weeks ago. I think he's going to piece it together and win like, the Travelers or like some kind of bum tournament.
Some tournament where you have to go low.
Yeah. Another guy I got is this European guy, Renato Peratore.
He doesn't exist.
I bet you he wins a European Tour event this year.
Speaking of which, let's get in on the European Tour. Did you see their Instagram thing today where one of their tee shots is from the top of a building?
Yeah, the European Tour is awesome. And my last guy is a Chinese guy, Haotong Li. He was my guy last year too. He didn't really do too much, so I got him again this year.
Is he the Nike guy?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. I like that. What about no Americans in there besides Luke?
No. I didn't really follow the web. Maybe I'll get more into the web this year. I tried to get into the European Tour last year, which I did a pretty good job of. I don't know. I feel like most Americans now, you got to give it another year. Because it's like all the guys, what am I going to say? Justin Thomas, or I know there's other guys too. Like there's the guy Ollie Schneider-Jans. He's got his card back this year. You got John Rahm. You could say he'll probably win a tournament. Actually, he's not American though. But,
John Rahm, we like him.
Yeah, I like him a lot.
I got one dark horse. He's the honorable who's back of the year. And I think AK is going to surprise some people. I think he's going to come out of nowhere. And I think he'll probably he's going to take down the Palm Springs 4-ball, Jack and Jill couples.
Dude, he probably already has. He probably has like 12 of those under his belt this year.
I need that. I need that shirt.
I miss that fool. The no laying up one?
Yeah, it's so good.
The Legends Never Die? Yeah. Yeah, it's sick.
Might be the best shit I've ever seen.
Yeah.
But anyway, all right. Well, that's good. What? Okay. So you have a month until the Hero World Challenge, which has the most stacked lineup I've ever seen.
What's it like? Top 30, top 40 guys, event only type deal, and Tiger's playing.
Stupid. It's just all the guys you want to see.
Yeah.
Does Brooks Koepka win a major in the next 3 years?
No.
Really? Not even a Schwag PGA?
Might get a Schwag PGA, yeah. Maybe.
All right. So we got a month to get in shape for Tiger.
Yep.
That's our game.
Yeah. He'll probably, I'm thinking a second to DFL.
He's going to win it. I think he's going to win it.
Can't hear you.
I said I think he's going to win it.
Oh, yeah. Probably not, though.
All right. I think that's good. So we'll do this again next week.
Sounds good. We'll get into more football talk for the fans next week. Keep it away from golf and soccer.
I think we're doing lacrosse and rugby.
That's perfect. I got a little cricket segment, too.
By the way, did you see the cricket guy who lost his artificial leg in the outfield?
Yeah, and we have a quick cricket segment for you right now.
And that was talking cricket.
I didn't watch the video, but I saw the article.
Unreal. All right, buddy. Good talking to you. Talk to you next week.
Sounds good.
Later.
Yeah. Clear enough for you? All right. Yeah. Why niggas look mad? All right. Y'all supposed to be happy on screen. Y'all niggas look like y'all wanted me to stay in jail. Oh, busters. Picture me rolling in my 500 Benz. I got no love for these niggas. There's no need to be friends. They got me under surveillance. I swear somebody